working on the potential.
Identifying the potential and then working on the potential.
Working on the potential.
I think it's support and perhaps some sort of courses.
They are two different things. One is this and one is on which people have written. Those are also two. One is advantage to one is disadvantage. Can you write those on the other side?
Promotion of potential.
Promotion of potential, capacity building. What else? Quick. Just whatever comes to mind, capacity building. Anybody say anything about what you understand as capacity building?
Exploring talents.
What does that mean?
Exploring talents.
Huh?
Exploring talents. Having more people
Having more people trained.
exploring talents. Either you can see that so you have an organization.
Anything else?
Working on the strengths of
Working on the strengths. Can you perceive that? Capacity building. I mean, in sort of professional development terms, what we call is the process of equipping individuals with the understanding, skills, and access to information, knowledge, and training that enables them to perform effectively. Capacity, as I've been talking earlier also in the plenary as well, is the potential in a person. That is the capacity. What is this person's capacity? What is this person capable? And it may not be very obvious, so you shouldn't go by the obvious things. And that is where distributed leadership culture can help you get to know people more deeply and see what potential is in there. So, finding out the capacity in other people, what they can be capable of, not what they are capable of, but what they can be capable of, what can be the hidden potentials in them as well, and then building on that, making maximum use of that. Just knowing is not. Knowing that this person has capacity, well, some person has a great sort of mathematical mind, but if he or she doesn't have a training in mathematics, what can that person do? Nothing. So, two aspects. Trying to understand, find out the capacity of all your team members, all your colleagues, your working team, to make best use of their abilities. Because if you don't know about them, they might have certain things which can be hugely useful for organization, for your own leadership, for getting best outcomes. It can be. But if you don't know them, obviously you got use them. And then, as I said, just knowing is not enough. Building on that knowledge. You know that somebody, and that's where professional training comes in, professional development comes in. If you know somebody has a potential. For example, if you want to train somebody in being a sort of, you think that somebody is has the potential to be a very good teacher. Right? Then you give that person an office responsibility, administrative responsibility. So here, you are really wasting a person's capacity. A person who can be a very good classroom teacher, you are taking that person away. And it can be the other way around. If a person is administratively very capable, I mean, people might have both. I'm not saying that. Some people might have both the sort of strengths. But you have to identify what it is. And when once you know that somebody is, for example, you know somebody is a good teacher, don't assume that that person can always stay good. You have to keep developing that person, updating that person's knowledge, whether as a teacher or an administrator or whatever that is. Because we again wrongly assume that once a teacher is always a teacher, a good teacher. It's not. Because the world is changing so fast that teachers cannot even, if you go to the young people after today's world, they will feel old, as if that we are talking about antiques and old things. You have to, if you are not updating your own knowledge, if you are not updating your own skills. In the UK, there is research done that when the use of technology in classrooms was introduced, about 15, 20, because about 20 years back, when computers really came into classes in 80s in the UK, probably in around late 80s actually, 88, 89, they were introduced in the institutions. And then they started being used in the institutions in 90s. And in 90s, so many teachers resigned from teaching jobs because they couldn't use it. And it is fantastic getting to choose something totally new. I mean, if you are used, people sitting here in a line and you hear readings from a text, are just giving them some task and they do it. And suddenly that doesn't work, that's not required, and you are asked to perform in a very different way. If you don't know how to do that, no matter how good a teacher you are, no matter how good knowledge you have got, you can't deliver. So that is where building comes in. You may still have the capacity, but that capacity has not been built for the specific changing context. So, and there are a couple of aspects. Sometimes we think that learning is limited to some age that young people should learn. We should come out of that sort of concept. Another thing is that we have a concept that young people learn from older people. We should also come out of that. Exactly. I mean, everything. And young people are so good at things now. They are so good at it. But old people also have their own knowledge area, expertise area. So never feel that if young people know something better, well, shut them up so that will make you feel undervalued. No. Because everyone has one's own strengths and abilities. And capacity building means making the maximum use of everyone's capacity, whether that is student or a teacher or whoever that person is. Because ultimately they are contribute to learning organization. So a few sort of definitions are there. I will not go into each one. You will get this handout. You do need, what I mean by expert power for capacity building is you do need to understand capacity building requires leaders not only to holistically at each area of their school, but to develop an understanding of how to bring each of these areas together in a way which generates greater capacity. It's no use, it's no boast or no great thing that if you have got good people and they are giving you good results. If you have got good people, then you should try to find out how that can be improved. Because if the whole concept of adding value, what is the concept of adding value? Value added. Yeah, exactly. I mean, for example, if you get a student who gets 50% marks and you develop that student for 1 up to 60%, you have added value. Then if you get a 60% student with a 60% and she or he passes again with a 60%, you haven't added. You haven't enhanced that person's ability. I mean, this is a very sort of generic thing. There might be other results that this person has not really overachieved better than the last time. But what we mean is that if we haven't improved the thing from where it was to the next stage, then really we are not keeping up with us. And role of leaders, I mean, that is very much linked to leadership capacity. Your colleagues, particularly, I mean, in the educational context, no matter how much shared and distributed leadership there is a concept of leadership, whether that is academic leadership or whether that is expert leadership, whatever, there is a concept. And it may not necessarily be associated with the head of the institution, but there is a concept. So, I mean, if there is somebody with academic leadership, then that person should contribute to developing academic capacity. If there is somebody with admin leadership, good in that, that person will contribute to developing that area capacity. But that, it comes to the role of those people who have this leadership responsibility to develop capacity. Performing yourself is, I mean, you can do that if you are capable of doing that. That's not a great thing. Making other people perform equally well, that is capacity. I mean, some people think that if we are performing well, we are making sense of ourselves, but yeah, that's great. We have achieved, we have become famous for that, we are known for that. That's not. It's not really. I mean, even if we go back to our religion, see, it is. You are to share your knowledge, you are not to keep your knowledge. That is, the worst thing is, you see, those people who keep their knowledge to themselves. Because it is something given to you. Even if you have made efforts to achieve it, but you have been made capable of rising to that level. And if you are being very sort of reluctant to share it with others, and you are not doing your full responsibility in sharing those strengths to others. You see, sometimes I know that people don't share strengths or good things with others, that they might then compete with them. There is an aspect. We have also, there are all sorts of insecurities, there are all sorts of issues in there. Sometimes people hold some sort of things that if I share with it, well, this person can maybe, and it becomes students also. I mean, for example, they are doing something, there's a good reference book, they won't tell the other person what the reference book is. Yeah, it's human nature, I'm not saying it's bad. But that is that is a leader's role, to bring that sort of culture where people enjoy and feel proud of sharing with others, so that it's not one person developing, but it is the whole group, whole team, whole institution developing. There is a handout which is from the I just use this one. I thought that it would be sort of more connected with what we are doing instead of having. If there are some less, please share with each other. If any group has got some extra, please pass on. I've got it. I don't think we will have time for engaging in everything. But one thing which I would really, let's have a quick look at this, but I don't want you to do this activity at today's session. Just look through it quickly, what these different models mean and how they are explained.